In question number 3, we're given the domain of f of x is restricted to negative infinity, comma 1. So we're asked, though, to find the domain and the range of f negative 1 of x. So we're looking for the inverse characteristics. Remember that the inverse, the x and the y coordinates switch, which also means that the domain and the range switch. So if we're given the domain of f of x is negative infinity to 1, that tells me that the range of f inverse, so f negative 1 of x, is also going to be negative infinity to 1. So the only answer choice that fits is answer choice C. That's the only one that has the correct range. But before I move on, I do want to address that on your test, you're going to have to find the domain and the range in order to find the correct solution many times. So if I graph the original equation, the x minus 1 squared, and I find the vertex, the lowest y value for the range is going to be 0, and the highest for this graph is infinity. So we said the range of f of x, the range of the original, is 0 to infinity, which tells me that the domain of f negative 1 of x, the domain of the inverse, is also 0 to infinity, which matches up with answer choice C. So the answer is C, but I want to make sure you know how to find both so that you're prepared for your test moving forward. Now for letter number 4, we're given an equation. Anytime you have an equation with an equal sign and a left side and a right side, we can graph it and use Menu 1. Just keep in mind that you're going to change the m's into x's. You're never going to graph an equal sign, and everything on the right side is going to switch signs. So 7m becomes minus 7x, minus 3 becomes plus 3. So here's our graph. Here's our video to show how we graph these. Remember that we find the absolute value bars next to the number 9. We type 2x plus 12 minus 7x plus 3. And when we do Menu 1, we're looking for, Menu 1 is trace, graph trace. We're looking for where it crosses the x-axis. We're looking for where it says the word 0. So 3, 0 is where it touches the x-axis. And I can look as far as I want to make sure there's not a second answer somewhere. You can type in numbers to jump around. You can jump back left, or you can scroll left and right, or you only go left and right. It's not touching it anywhere other than just 3, 0. But if I really want to be thorough and check, I can also zoom out, Menu 4, and I can zoom out on the center here, 0, 0, and see that the blue line never touches the graph, never touches the x-axis anywhere else. So the only answer that makes sense is 3, 0. Okay, so the answer is 3. Now, question number 5, we can also do by graphing. So if we graph, in order to find the domain of this function, let's graph the equation. So we graph 5 square root 2x minus 7 plus 10. And we're looking for the starting point. When we're looking for a domain of a square root function, we're really just looking for the starting point. So if I do Menu 1, we can't see the graph, but let's go to the right side until we find it, and there it is. Let's type in each answer choice. So let's start with the 7 over 2. So we put 7 divided by 2, and it gives us my starting point right there. So that's the answer, but let's make sure. If we put 13 divided by 2, that's not a starting point. If I put 7 and hit enter, that's not a starting point. If I put 10, it's also not a starting point. Only when I put 7 divided by 2 does it give me the starting point, and all the answer choices say greater than or equal. So the answer is A.